Hi. How's it? Yeah, book club. Book club, book club, book club. Hell yeah. I don't have much to say. And I just kind of want to get right into it. So, no yapping, no buffer. We're just going to jump right in. I've been listening to these fucking cicada cry forever, having this game up and ready to go. So, I'm ready to get in there and get her done. Also, I'm a little tired. So, we're going to try and get through this. Alright, damn. About homing ability and homesickness. If you interpret homing ability in a broad sense, you can say that most animals have a homing ability. It's the same like with humans. We like to sleep, rest, and eat at a place where we feel comfortable, namely our homes. Your home is what your nests are to animals. Therefore, we can say that humans have a homing ability as well. First of all, why do animals need nests? The answer is the same for humans. Sleeping, resting, and eating are essential actions for survival. At the same time, those actions leave one defenseless as well. That's why you need a safe area where you can be defenseless. Everybody knows that not having this safe area results in a high level of stress. When you move an animal to a new environment, it naturally becomes stressed. When you force a person to live in a foreign land where they aren't comfortable, they become greatly stressed as well. Everybody also knows that this kind of stress is called homesickness. The Japanese don't know much about homesickness. We define it as mental weakness and are neglected to treat it for a long period of time. However, homesickness has a very long history. In Europe's Middle Ages, people believed that it wasn't a mental, but rather a physical disease. People also believed that out of everyone, the Swiss got the disease the most. The Swiss, you see, were known to be an ethnic group that worked away from the home in that area. They lived far away from their homes. There were no telephones at that time, so they couldn't even hear their families' voices for ages and ages. It's easy to imagine that the young Swiss workers got homesick while working in a strange land. These Swiss who got homesick wanted to go home, but they couldn't because of their jobs. The conflict made them weak physically and mentally. Some of them went crazy and tried to escape from their reality by committing suicide or running away. The Swiss at the time were very superstitious, and many folk remedies of occult-like treatments to prevent homesickness went around. Since going home was the only treatment, they must have called it a fatal disease. But it wasn't really one, of course. Specifically, homesickness is a sign that humans' homing instinct, your brain desires to go back to your safe area, namely your home. At first, your brain makes you remember the happy memories of your home and urges you to go home in a natural way. But when reason stops you from achieving your desire, your brain starts sending unnatural signals to your body. As a result, your body gets weak, and that makes it more difficult for you to live in a strange land. In the end, you have to bend reason in order to achieve your desire to go home. So homesickness is born from your homing instincts. And the stronger one's homing instinct is, the stronger the homesickness. The strength of that homing instinct varies from individual to individual and depends on the environment in which the individual lives. When your home is safe and the environment you live in is dangerous, your homing instinct grows stronger. On the other hand, when the environment you live in is safer than your homing instinct becomes weak. Safety isn't the only element that affects its strength. Cultural aspects affect it too. The many customs demanding families to return home from major events varies with each region. So if your birthplace is culture who alters the strength of your homing instinct. Amongst those regions, the transcendents of Onigafuchi village were believed to have an excessively strong homing instinct. The people of the Onigafuchi forbade their fellows from ever leaving. Many believe this was the effect of the elitism and sense of purity already mentioned before. People today are strongly believe that Oyashiro-sama puts his curse on you, and if you break his rule and abandon the village, the superstition can be interpreted as homesickness. If homesickness is directly proportional to one's homing instinct, then the exaggerated expression curse would signify the strength of the homesickness and also their homing instinct. I can assume that they hated the outside world and created an insular society precisely because of their powerful homing ability. Unfortunately, there's no way to measure the strength of the homing ability with that primitive people of Onigafuchi had. It was so strongly forbidden to leave this village that nobody left long enough to get homesick. However, after the Meiji era, things changed. The sacredness of the Onigafuchi dwindled with the efforts of the modernization. Many young people started longing for city life, and some people were forced to leave the village to get a job. As a result, villagers started venturing outside the village borders. That was when the transcendence of the Onigafuchi realized how strong their homing ability was for the first time. The residents of Hinamizawa got extremely homesick. After a while, people started to call this homesickness the curse of Oyashiro-sama. It became rumored that the person who left the village to get a job in a strange land was cursed, that he went crazy and died. And people who had left the village started coming back to it either by or nearby town. Their homesickness and their homing ability were very strong because of the culture. It's reasonable to think that they were cultivated by the unique religion in Hinamizawa, namely the cult of Oyashiro-sama. From the moment they were born, they were taught the rules of Oyashiro-sama. They must have felt guilty about leaving the village unconsciously. As a result, they considered their homesickness to be the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I'm not sure if their homesickness got stronger because of the rules of Oyashiro-sama, or if they made the rules of Oyashiro-sama because their homesickness was stronger. I don't know which came first. Oh goodness, hold on, let me get some water. Jeez. I got tired of reading such small print, and I lay down on the floor on my back. The true identity of the curse of Oyashiro-sama is homesickness? Mio-san believed my story, and she let me read these scrapbooks. That's what I expected to find something interesting. But what it's saying is that the answers to all is homesickness, which many doctors told me so many times at counseling. I'm a little set. The word homesickness can't explain the extraordinary experience I had. I saw Oyashiro-sama come down to me from the bright light in the bathroom. I saw the dusty, red, nasty maggots come out of my blood vessels. This scrapbook doesn't explain any of that. I don't understand how Mio-san was going to explain the cloud of maggots. Maybe she didn't have any explanation to that to begin with. Was it all really just a delusion? I flipped through another one of the scrapbooks Mio-san left the burrow, looking for explanation of the maggots I saw. Then, I found it. It had the exact title I was looking for. About maggots and the curse of Oyashiro-sama. In the Meiji era, a group of villagers were on their way back to Hinamizawa, and they started discussing a rumor about the weird disease. They said that maggots started crawling out of the wounds of the person who had left Hinamizawa, and that the maggots ate the person's body from the inside. The Shinto priest at the Furude shrine at the time explained the weird disease as a sign of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. According to the tradition, the Shinto priest showed the villagers an ancient scroll, and he told them that the story of the maggots had been passed down through the ages. This is what the scroll said. The world where the demons came from must be interpreted as the land of the death. And the demons in that land of death had to live their lives while being eaten by maggots. The villagers who were of the demon's blood had nothing to worry about as long as they lived in Hinamizawa under the protection of Oyashiro-sama. But once they left Hinamizawa, abandoning the protection, the maggots that had been sleeping in the blood and the demons would start to awaken, and they'd eat their bodies from the inside out. This maggot disease scared the villagers for a while, and they asked the shrine to provide them with protective talismans whenever they had to leave the village on business. This is interesting, as it's similar to the way the homesickness was dealt with by the Swiss in the Middle Ages. After the war started, the delusion of the maggot disease faded, but they remained accustomed to send talismans to families that lived away from Hinamizawa. The talismans had the word maggot on them. But most interesting part about this is that the residents of Hinamizawa didn't know about the maggot disease until the rumors began. I thought about their unconscious worship and made those people think homesickness was a curse. So this case was previously unknown, maggot disease, directly contradicted the research I had done so far. It's natural to think that the group of people who were on their way back to the village were lost in a mass delusion because they strongly believed in the curse and that the Shinto priests took advantage of their state of panic to instill a deeper faith within them. But I'm not fully convinced that it was merely a coincidence that this mass delusion matched with the story of the old picture on the scroll. I wonder if it's possible to see maggots in the wound without having a prerequisite knowledge when a person was cursed by Oyashiro-sama. I wish Oyashiro-sama would put his curse on someone I could study. I'd love to see these maggots coming out of someone. I felt as if Mio-san was here and making that request of me. I remember when she gave me the scrapbooks, she said that I might be the only one who could understand them. It felt good just for a moment, because I found out about the maggots and they weren't a delusion. But at the same time, it destroyed my excuse that it was a delusion. The maggots weren't a delusion. They were there. All of a sudden, my wrists, elbows, inner thighs, and neck started itching. I felt the urge to cut open a blood vessel, but I quietly held it down. I remembered that Mio-san looked very serious when I talked about the maggots. She must have thought it was creepy. And so did I. While I was crying because nobody believed me, part of me didn't want to believe that my body was filled with these creepy things. I think part of me wanted to believe that there was just a delusion. But now I know it wasn't. It wasn't a delusion. There are some people who had the exact same experience. Maggots in the demon's blood will awaken when you lose the protection of Oyashiro-sama. In other words, they may not awaken under the protection of Oyashiro-sama, but all the villagers still have the maggots in them without knowing it. People of the demon's blood are people who have these creepy maggots in their bodies. I tried not to jump to conclusions, and I flipped the pages again. I unconsciously looked for something related to maggots. About parasites and control of the host. The maggot disease made me think about something. Is it possible to say the extremely strong homesickness of Hinamizawa was an infectious disease caused by some kind of parasite? I'm not trying to connect the maggots they saw with parasites. I'm trying to think about the possibility that their culture, their religion, might be associated with some infectious disease. Many infectious diseases are caused unintentionally by parasites. A parasite's host is literally its home. It wants to live within the host body for as long as it can. The best way to do that is to coexist with the host without the host knowing. But some parasites try to control their hosts and use them for prosperity. For example, some parasites have the ability to control their host in order to force them to be eaten by a superior host. A typical example is the Dicrocilium dentricrum. It uses snails or ants as an intermediate host, and it forces them to move in upper side of the vegetation, so it's easier for the superior host to consume it. Hi Muffin, welcome in. One parasite that controls the more complicated animals is called Toxoplasma gondii. It uses mice as an intermediate host, with the superior host being cats. This parasite makes a mouse lose its fear of cats in order to increase the chance of it getting eaten, so that the parasite can live within the cat instead. There are parasites that choose hosts at random. The rabies virus is commonly known for that. It lives in the breeds in brain of the host, and it moves into the host's saliva through the salivary glands. It makes the host extremely aggressive, in order to make it bite things randomly, so that it can turn and move to the other host with its saliva. Hi Jennifer, welcome in. I'm concerned. Why is Saf talking about it? Hey man, don't worry. Once we get through this little section, we can quick do a recap. Okay. Many parasites have a similar ability to control hosts to their benefit. The examples I used above are parasites that move into the other hosts and prosper, but I think there must be some kind of parasite that controls its host in order to have a comfortable environment in which to live. I want to try and connect the theory of the abnormal homing ability with the homesickness of the Onigafuchi residents. Let's say it's some kind of parasite that exists in Hinamizawa and lives within all the villagers' bodies. For the parasite, Hinamizawa is the most comfortable environment to live in, so it gives the host a strong homing ability in order to make them stay in Hinamizawa. Furthermore, it causes the host to get homesick whenever they ignore this homing ability and try to leave. Parasites need hosts to live. It's convenient for them if their hosts build a community in the environment where it feels comfortable. This theory makes it easier for me to explain the mysteries I described earlier. The transcendents of the Onigafuchi knew about the existence of this parasite. They knew that, as hosts of the parasites, they couldn't live outside the village, and that's why they created this culture and rules that prohibited contact with the outside world. It also explains why people acted so abnormal during the dam conflict. So the demons that came out of the swamp in the legend of Oyashiro-sama can be interpreted as the mass spread of the parasite. The story about demons attacking villagers must be a metaphor for the behavior that infected villagers who were controlled by the parasite. Don't worry, I am now very worried. So basically, this chapter so far has just been Reina kind of reading through Mio's notes. Hi Scum, welcome in. Because in the last chapter, I don't know if you remember, but Tomitake and Mio were both pronounced dead. Like, it was Watanagashi happened, and now Tomitake is dead, and Mio is, I guess, she's allegedly dead. Like, we were told that no one has seen her since Watanagashi, and it's been a few days. So before Watanagashi, though, Reina was describing to Mio the experience she had with Oyashiro-sama. Like how when Reina left the village when she was younger and she saw Oyashiro-sama, aka God, after she cut herself and maggots started coming out of her cuts. So, and she told this story to Mio, and Mio was like, don't worry, I don't think you're crazy. Here, read through my scrapbooks of the research I've done on your people and see if any of it helps you. And so after she was like, Reina didn't read any of it. She's like, whatever, I'll do it later. But then now Watsunagashi happened and Mio was missing. And so she's like, fuck, maybe I should read those books. There might be actually something in there. Like, because like it was something, what was it? What's your Oishi, the cop? He said that he thinks that he kind of hinted to Reina that Mio might have been erased. Like she knew too much. And so Reina's like, well, shit. If she knew something, I should go see what it is and then burn the fucking scrapbook so I don't get caught. So we've just been her reading through. Yeah, fuck. I've already like... What was the very first entry was about what homesickness is and how it can be interpreted as a mental disease if it's strong enough. The next entry was about how the ancient people of Hinamizawa also had this maggot thing, where like if they went too far out of the village, maggots would eat them from the inside out. And so now Reina just read that last passage where she's like, where Mio thought it was a parasite thing, and the parasite was making them see this to make sure they stay in Hinamizawa. I don't know, this is my trick cap. I never remember, bruh. Damn, for real? On God? Yes. Yes, Higurashi is very, very horror. It's still disturbing. Mm-hmm. Is this like a story about the game or gossip from the Money Factory? No, this is the story about the game. This is kind of just what's happened so far in this chapter. Yeah, I imagine this happened in the bank. Oh my god. Okay.
This theory is too crazy. I should have just laughed about it. But I felt bad for Mio-san, so I decided not to. Hinamizawa is controlled by a parasite? You could use that theory to explain how the maggots came out of me. I felt a little dizzy. I was so confused, and part of me thought it was ridiculous. And the other part of me thought, well, it was more convincing than any curse. But Mio-san was probably erased because she wrote these scrapbooks. If so, the contents of these scrapbooks must be something that they can't ignore. They try to get all their scrapbooks and consign them to oblivion. What if they noticed me and her scrapbooks were missing? I felt a chill running through my spine. I have to keep it a secret that I have these scrapbooks, and I'll have to try and understand more about their contents. I remember Mio-san told me that the three families are behind the mysterious deaths and that they're trying to resurrect the cult of Ryashiro-sama. According to the theory I just read, the parasite must be trying to maintain the current environment of Hinamizawa. The healthiest environment for it is a completely closed village, just like the primitive Onigafuchi. It must be very comfortable for the parasite if no hosts go outside the village. They don't even like that the villagers often leave the village to go shopping. That means the parasite would try to goad the host into resurrecting the cult of Oyashiro-sama. Huh? I remember there was an article in the scrapbook saying that demon's blood runs through the thickest in the three families. That would mean they have a larger amount of the parasite in them than other villagers, and that they'd be under its control. The three families seem to be planning to bring the village back to the Onigafuchi era. Reviving the Watsunagashi festival after the dam conflict can be interpreted as their desire to revive the faith that they had started to fade away in the Meiji era. The three families, especially the Sonozaki family, have a great influence over the region and the public organizations. What's going on here? I thought this had to be a poorly written theory, but the pieces fit together, one after another. I've never played jigsaw puzzle as crazy as this. I felt my brain swirling due to the absurd theory. A part of me thought it was ridiculous, and another part of me thought it might be about to expose an unbelievable truth. When I tried to look into the center of it, I felt as if I was going to fall into a whirlpool and drown. I'll have to devote myself to reading more seriously. There must be some truth to this. It caused misfortune and made my life miserable after I moved to Ibaraki. I might be able to find the truth, including the cause of my parents' divorce and my desperate behavior. Right then, I heard a knock on the door all of a sudden. It scared me. I hid the scrapbooks under the cushion. Reina, you have a phone call. A phone call? This late? Who is it? It says it's from the bookstore. Did you order some books? They said that they were Oishi-san from the Okonomiya bookstore.
Ooh. Saf isn't going crazy right now. Nah. Very, very hard. What? That's what? Muffin. That damn Higurashi. Oh my god. Don't be ridiculous. It's Higurashi. God damn. Oh my god. How is the money factory, by the way? Did you beat up any Karens or Kyles? Please say yes. Well, no, not really, but I did get a new job higher up, so I won't even be in the banking branch anymore. I'll be like in an office in a skyscraper somewhere, so. Yeah, hopefully not too much longer. I won't have any crazy stories then, probably. Guess she's going as crazy as Keiichi. Who? You think Reina's going crazy? To me, this is the most sane Reina we have. Leaving the money factory? No. Yeah, I know. It's a sad day. For them. No. Yeah, I know. Who's gonna make the money now? You're gonna have to figure that out, bro. I don't know. Now I'm an executive money woman. Bruh, if only. If only. No, I'm not an executive or anything, but I will have like an office space in a skyscraper, which I'm very excited about because there's not customer facing, so it's gonna be nice. Anyway, let's try and get this chapter done, right? I think we're like halfway. Usually that means we're like halfway through when it does that little cutaway, so we'll see. She made the money. Oh my god, shush. Oh my god. I opened the windows, but all they let in was heat and the cries of the cicadas. It's too hot. Man, it really is. It was break time between classes, but we couldn't really get any rest. Mion and I leaned on our desks, exhausted by the heat. The younger kids sure are tough, considering how the heat wasn't bothering them at all. They were running around the classroom despite the temperature. Do schools in the cities have, like, air conditioning in their classrooms? No, they don't. Only the teacher's office gets to have air conditioning. Wow. I guess that's better than nothing. If I were a student in a school like that, I'd attack the teachers and take their office. And you'd be the first student to ever do that. Wahaha. I didn't have the energy to laugh. Mion and I stopped talking and used our notebooks to fan ourselves. I looked at the empty seat nearby. It was Reina's. Reina didn't come to school today. She called and told Jason that she hadn't come because she's sick. Reina seems to be feeling down these days. Yeah. She probably got tired from the heat. Do you really think that's the reason? Yeah? Why? I think it's the incident. Maybe. It's probably both that and summer heat. I can't even imagine how distressing it was for her to commit a murder, dismember the bodies, and get caught by her friends. We took each other's hands at that place and we united. All of us believed that we had closed the case there and we had regained our peace. But was that as easy for Reina as it was for us? She must not have quite recovered yet. Well, this old man thought she'd get over it if she played along with us. But I guess her pain is even deeper than I thought. Well, what are we going to do to cheer her up? I think it's best if we just leave her alone, I think. Hey, are you sure about that? We're her friends, you know. Well, it's like homesickness, you know? You get lonely and you want to call home just to hear your mom's voice, but that's actually making your homesickness worse. When you're feeling lonely, the best thing to do is devote yourself to sports or something like that for a change. I want her to do club activities with us, but she doesn't want to. I don't know about her, but people usually have a desire to depend on somebody. You want to depend on somebody who supports you and sympathizes with you. Haven't you ever experienced that feeling? When you can't stop depending on somebody when they try and cheer you up? Well, I don't know. Completely depending on someone means you're trying to earn a deeper sympathy for them. At that point, even though you're trying to comfort them, they just slip further and further into depression. By finding initial success through relying on someone and receiving comfort, they grow addicted to indulging in the misfortune. I think Reina knows that. And that's why she wants to be left alone right now. If she wanted to depend on us or get comfort from us, all she'd have to do is stay with us and cry all the time. So how can we cheer her up? I think she would appreciate it more if you tried to help her forget her pain than if you tried to cheer her up. Don't comfort her and don't cheer her up. There's nothing I can do, is there? That's a golden rule for a psychologist, didn't you know? Mental trauma can only be healed by the person who has it. If someone else helps a person out with their mental trauma, even if they succeed, that person wouldn't be completely healed. So all we can do now is wait until Reina heals on her own. I understand the idea, but I just don't know how cold it sounds. I clasped my hands behind the back of my head, looking up at the ceiling. Mion laughed. Reina will be fine. As long as she has someone like you to worry about her, I'm sure she can pull herself together. So, all I need to do is be close to her? I don't know about that.
There is something you can do, Keiichi.
Rika-chan spoke up. I wonder how long she'd been listening to our conversation. What is it?
You can listen to her when she wants to talk to somebody.
Is that all? I just listen? I don't need to make her feel better? Kei-chan, people feel better just by talking to somebody. Sometimes all they need is someone who does nothing but listen.
Just like me said, I think it's important for us, as her friends, to be there for whenever she wants to talk to somebody.
Mion and Rika-chan were absolutely right. I was going to pat Reina on her shoulder and tell her to cheer up when I saw her next, but now that I know it would have been one-sided on my part. Reina doesn't want to feel down for herself. She wants to cheer up if at all possible. If I cheered her up irresponsibly, she'd be very disappointed, because she'd think that I didn't understand her pain. You're right. I guess I wasn't even trying to understand how she felt. I wanted to cheer her up, but I know now that's just what I want to do, not what she wants me to do. Thanks, you two. I think I finally understand. And on that day, I thought I cheered her up, but I started to doubt if I had really reached her heart. I might have just been dragging her someplace where I wanted her to go. I wasn't on her side in the real sense of the term. All of a sudden, Rika-chan popped in my head.
Don't worry. We all know that you're on her side.
Huh? What? Did I say something out loud again? It did reach her heart. Kei-chan, you really did give her great strength on that day. Well, now that I think about it, what you said on that day was more than a little theatrical. We heard footsteps in the hallway and everybody started to head back to their desks. Take your seats, everyone. President, if you would, all rise. We didn't have club meeting that day because Reina wasn't around. And that worked out for me, because I had an errand to run. It wasn't a big errand. My mom wanted me to use her point card to get some detergent. I didn't see the point in going all the way to the store just to get detergent, but my mom told me to go because she's busy and helping my dad with his work. I started walking towards the shopping center. I noticed someone was watching me, hiding behind a distant tree. I wonder who would do such a mischievous thing. I stared at them to find out who it was, at which point they emerged. Oh, Raina! You feeling better? I was about to say that, but then I swallowed my words. Somehow, Raina looked very serious. What's going on? Shh! Raina put her index finger to her lips. It told me to be quiet. I looked around carefully and beckoned for me to come over. I had no idea what was going on, but I followed her instructions, shut my mouth, and I ran to her. Raina gestured for me to squat down and hide in the shadow of the bush. I didn't know why I had to do that, but I could ask her a question later. I just followed her orders for now. Raina looked like she was making sure no one was following her. If it was Mion, she'd do something like this just to fool me as a joke, but I know Raina doesn't do things like this for fun. I had no idea what kind of situation I'd gotten myself into, but I could feel how tense it was, and I made myself as small as I could.
Good. It's okay now. I'm sorry.
The tone of her voice made me relax a little. Whew! So what's going on?
I think someone has been following me.
What? Who would follow her? When I thought about it, I realized how stupid the question was. Is it the police? Rina Mamiya and Tepe Hojo. 2 people disappeared. Even though they were awful human beings, the police had to investigate if they found out that they'd gone missing. It probably wouldn't be difficult to find out that Rina was often been at Rina's house. But it should be okay. As long as they don't find those bags, it'll be okay.
I don't know if it's the police or not, but I feel like someone's been watching me since the night of Watsunagashi.
What do you mean? Once I asked that question, Raina stared directly at me with a blank expression. Her eyes looked as though they had been evaluating me. She stared at me as if she was assessing whether I was worth talking to about something so very important. Raina squeezed her own wrist tightly, then started talking in a whisper.
I can tell you what's going on, but can you keep it a secret?
Of course I can. If you want me to keep it a secret, I won't tell anybody.
Okay. I trust you.
She smiled and looked around one more time.
They might be looking for Mio-san's scrapbooks.
Mio-san? Oh, the nurse, Takano-san. What about her scrapbooks?
Well, the police keeping the investigation under wraps, so I'm sure you don't know. Mio's Takano-san was murdered.
What? When? She told me to be quiet again. I lowered my voice and let her continue.
On the night of Watsunagashi, we met Mio-san and Tomotaki-san, didn't we? They were attacked right after that. Tomotaki-san was cursed by Oyashiro-sama, and he clawed out his throat and died. Mio-san was burned to death in the mountains of the Gifu Prefecture.
Is that true? I mean, nobody told me about that.
I know. That's because the police haven't disclosed their investigation. These cases make the 5th series of mysterious deaths, so the police have decided not to go public yet.
I see. I understand why the police are keeping quiet about it, but then where did you hear this?
Can you keep it a secret?
Oh, shit.
I've been in contact with Oshi-san. He's a detective from the Okonomiya Police Department. He told me about the case.
Why did he tell you?
I don't know. He said he told me because he could trust me.
I was dumbfounded to hear all this, but I knew she wasn't lying. If it was Mion, she'd be sticking her tongue out by now. But Reina wouldn't make a joke of something like this.
I think the reason why Mio-san was murdered is because of her research. Do you know she was doing ethnological research by studying the history of the village? That was a fucking tough word.
I've heard something about along those lines. Takano-san was interested in the occult and mysterious things. I remember Mion once told me. that she was studying the village's legends of man-eating demons out of curiosity.
I think she discovered a very important secret about the village through her studies. Or maybe she wasn't even close to the truth, but she thought she was.
Wait a second. What's the secret of the village that you're talking about?
I just read a few of her scrapbooks, but those were the ones that was handling with extra caution, so I think there are pretty important things written in them. I think about how 80% of what Mio-san was trying to uncover, but if it's true, it's almost too crazy to believe. Right now, I'm trying to find out whether Mio-san's theory is right or not.
So, what is it? What is the secret of the village? What could be so important that you might get killed just by knowing about it? I gasped the moment those words left my mouth. If Reina told me, I might get killed too.
I don't want to tell you yet, but I promise I will once I verify the things. Because it's really crazy. Too crazy to be true.
What do you mean you have to verify things?
Well, for example, I myself serve as verification that the mega disease can occur without any background knowledge, but there are a lot of things I still need to verify. They sound too crazy to be true, and I can hardly believe them if I don't verify that they are.
Maggots? I was totally lost now. I wanted to ask her some questions, but I decided not to cut in. It was so hot outside. But Reina held her arms as if she was cold. Reina, I'm always on your side. You can trust me.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
From her expression alone, I could tell that she was really meant by it. I could also tell that she was involved in something very big, and that she felt lonely because she couldn't tell anybody else about it. I had to be on her side while she was going through a difficult time.
You shouldn't tell anybody that you met me here today. They might try to hurt you if they found out.
Okay. Isn't there anything I can do to help?
Not right now, but it's very reassuring that I can ask you for help when I need it. I'll depend on you someday.
Yeah, anytime.
Shh, a car's coming.
Reina pushed my head into the bush. I went along with it and crouched down even lower into the bushes. We stayed quiet for a while. I could hear a car coming closer, and after a while, a white van passed by. I was surprised at her hearing. She heard that car coming and was still so far off in the distance.
Did you see its license plate number?
What? No, I'm sorry. I didn't.
I couldn't either, but I think it's the same car I saw earlier.
Are they the ones following you?
I think so. It passed by me many times today on the street, where nobody usually drives. I hit every time, but it's strange.
Are they the ones? Are they the ones who killed Takano-san and Tomotaki-san? Are they looking for the scrapbooks you have?
Most likely, yes.
I don't blame her for not being able to believe what's going on, because it's really crazy. Takano-san uncovered something really significant through her studies. The people who want that information hidden found out about it, and they killed her on the night of Watsunagashi, copying the curse of Oyashiro-sama. They're looking for the scrapbooks and the fruits of her research, and Reina has them. That's why they're trying to kill Reina? What about your house?
It's safe there. I hid the scrapbooks in my secret hideout at the garbage dump. I'm worried about my father, but he'll be fine because he really doesn't know anything. It's written on your face, Keiichi-kun. It says, "I can't believe it, because it sounds too crazy to be true." Am I right?
I wanted to deny it, but I felt bad to lie, so I remained silent in affirmative.
Well, that's a normal reaction. I couldn't believe any of it when I read the first scrapbook. I finally started seeing the connections after reading all of them.
I'm sorry. I do want to help you, but I just don't know how. If I don't see the whole picture of what's going on.
If I tell you, it might put you in danger.
You're already in danger, right? I don't mind. Don't worry about me.
Okay, I'll tell you then. It's probably the 3 families who killed Mio-san and Toмотaki-san. To be more specific, it's the Sonozaki family, Michan's family.
Why?
You know about the series of mysterious deaths, right?
Of course. The traitors of the dam conflict die every year, right?
The series of mysterious deaths is like a resolution of the dam conflict. They're trying to end the dam conflict in a true sense of the term by erasing people who betrayed the village.
It does look like that in a way, right? Nobody really says it out loud, but everybody is suspicious that the Sonozaki family's behind it. And that's what I've heard. Sorry, I just read chat. I'm sorry. I think it's the incident. Oh, the incident? The one we all agreed not to talk about? Is that what we're talking about right now? Can you keep it a secret? Good thing. She's saying this with the most secretive, most reliable, trustworthy person. Yeah, the most sane, stable man in Hinamizawa. Keiichi Maebara. Hell yeah. If I'm not mistaken, these are kids. Yes, they are all kids. If I'm not mistaken, I am mistaken. Yeah, probably. But yeah, no, they're all kids.
But if they really wanted to erase the traitors, they wouldn't have to do it on the night of Watsunagashi. Why don't they kill them all at once instead of killing them one by one, using the curse and demoning away every year? Wouldn't that make more sense?
I've never heard the words demon and away before, but Reina clearly thought they made some kind of creepy significant meaning, so I decided not to cut in.
That means that they're using the series of mysterious deaths in order to resurrect the sacredness of the Watsunagashi festival. Step by step, they're reviving the sacred nature of the Onigafuchi that was lost in the Meiji era. Their goal is to revive the level of belief in Oyashiro-sama that used to exist in primitive times.
Belief in Oyashiro-sama. Are you talking about the Furude Shrine? This is really fucked up, Scooby-Doo.
Yes! Do you think people revere the Furude Shrine now? Elder people respect the shrine, but that's it. Kids think of it as a place to play, and most of the villagers think it's a place to gather for local events. Its sacredness has been lost, but with the dam conflict, it started to revive, and they took it as a good opportunity to bring back the cult of Oyashiro-sama.
So, you're saying that some fanatical Oyashiro-sama worshippers are behind all this?
That's what I'm saying. The cult of Oyashiro-sama was managed by the 3 families to begin with. The 3 families passed down their ultimate goal of reviving the cult of Oyashiro-sama to the present generation. When you think about it, you'll understand why the 3 families took the initiative in uniting the villagers during the dam conflict, and why they set up the Onigafuchi Guardian's office in the Furude Shrine, citing Oyashiro-sama, who was almost forgotten to the times.
So, the 3 families, the fanatical Oyashiro-sama worshippers orchestrated the series of the mysterious deaths of Hinamizawa. But, wait, why would they kill Takano-san?
Because she discovered the important secret of this village. The 3 families have been hiding it since the era of the Onigafuchi. If that secret is revealed, the sacredness of Oyashiro-sama will be lost. They found out that Mio-san was getting close to the secret, and that's why they killed her.
What is this important secret? I don't care if I put myself in danger, I need to know.
I don't want to tell you yet. I don't want to tell you until I'm 100% sure about it. I'm pretty sure right now, you would just laugh.
Hey, do you think I'm that kind of guy?
I just need a little more time. I can't accept the truth myself because it sounds so impossible. So I need some time. Please.
I understand.
Don't tell anybody about what we've talked about today. Not even Mi-chan, Rika-chan, or Satoko-chan.
Okay.
You should go now. I'll take a look around for a while before I go home. I can't be too careful anymore.
Reina ducked low in the bushes and moved away. I was left alone there. The cries of the cicadas surrounding me, making it seem as if I was alone there the whole time. I started walking, still dumbfounded. In the end, Reina didn't tell me the secret because she was afraid of putting me in danger. But she told me clearly that there are people who want to resurrect the cult of Oyashiro-sama, and that they're among the 3 families that control the entire village. They orchestrated the series of mysterious deaths for that purpose, and they killed Takano-san because she got too close to the secret they want to hide. Reina met Takano-san and happened to obtain scrapbooks in which Takano-san wrote about her research. Reina still can't believe the secret written in those scrapbooks because it's just too crazy. Hey, come on, Reina. You're kidding, right? It's like one of those comic book stories. A mysterious occult group is plotting conspiracy? I mean, it's not funny even if it is a joke. But Reina was right about one thing. Even if this is true, it's really hard to believe. I understand why Reina wanted to wait and tell me the secret. Maybe she was just fooled by Takano-san. But Takano-san was murdered for real. So, is this also true that someone is following Reina looking for the scrapbooks? I remember, Reina said that the white van was following her. You can see white vans anywhere. I bet there was a lot in this village alone. She might just be oversensitive to everything right now. Reina hasn't recovered from the shock since that day. That's probably why she got stuck on the idea in her head that the police or something else is coming after her. I didn't cut in while she was talking. I think I did the right thing. If I had said that it was ridiculous or something to her like that to her face, Reina wouldn't have trusted me ever again. At that point, however, I gasped. A white van was parked on the side of the street. I wasn't sure if this was the same car that passed by earlier, since I didn't get to see the plate number. But the number of people in the car and the ambience of it was similar to the one earlier. And there's one other thing that looks suspicious about it. There was no reason to park here. It was on a small road in the middle of the woods. There's nothing around here. No traffic lights, no vending machines, no public phones. I probably wouldn't notice it under ordinary circumstances, but something felt wrong. And once I noticed how odd it was definitely suspicious. There were 4 men in work uniforms in the white van. The driver was smoking a cigarette, but the other men were just sitting there doing nothing. If they wanted to take a break or have a smoke, they could have chosen a better place than here. It was possible that they stopped because they had to go to the bathroom really bad, but it didn't seem that way either. They didn't look as comfortable or relaxed as they would if they were just taking a break. They looked like they were waiting for something to happen. There was a deep tension in the car. Could they possibly be waiting for Reina? No way. I didn't see anybody else walking around here. This road is a back road. Nobody really uses this road, let alone by a car. But it's possible. I felt bad for Reina to even think about it, but this must be something that she got into her head, because she's feeling victimized or something. She must be imagining these things because she's still nervous from her friends caught her in the act of killing Rina and Teppei. Hey, young man. I heard someone say that as I passed by the van. He couldn't mean me. He didn't even know who I was. So I assumed he was talking to one of the other people in the car. I pretended I didn't hear him. I kept walking. And then he said it again. And honked the horn as well. Young man, excuse me. Are you on your way home from school? He had a strong accent similar to that of the older villagers. He must live here, but I didn't know him. I could tell he didn't know me either because he didn't call me by my name. Yeah, I am. You've been walking on this road all the way from school, right? You turned the corner where the stationery store was, right? Yes. So? They were probably lost, I thought. This village has many small turns, and you can easily get lost when you take a shortcut. So they must have been waiting for someone to ask for directions. But then he said something disturbing. Young man, didn't you see a girl on the way here? Huh? What? A girl with a white hat and white clothes, with a purple ribbon on it. Did you see her? They were definitely talking about Reina. No, I didn't. I wasn't ready to hear them ask that. Rather, I was scared. That's why my voice got all shaky. Up until that point, I couldn't believe Reina's story. I thought it was ridiculous. I actually laughed, if only to myself. That's why I wasn't ready at all. My heart was beating fast and I was sweating all over. I immediately answered no, I didn't, but it might have sounded like an obvious lie. The driver stared into my eyes. He looked like he was trying to figure out if I was lying or not. My legs started to shake. I felt like a frog was under the glare of a snake, and I couldn't move a muscle for a while. But I think the same went for those men, too. They were clearly a suspicious group, and they had just asked a villager about a girl out of the blue. Anybody would get suspicious. And I was right. The man broke the ice and started making excuses before I even asked him why he wanted to know about the girl. Well, I wasn't asking for no reason in particular. We just passed a girl earlier, and you're a boy, so you're just wondering. Oh. Okay. Just forget it. Sorry for the trouble, young man. We're off. The man started the engine and drove away. After they left, I saw nothing. That's right. Nothing. There was no reason they had to park there. So, were they really waiting for Reina? Hey, achievement. Mystery machine. Mystery machine! Be drawn further into the mystery. Holy shit, because we were talking about Scooby-Doo. Holy shit. Like Zoink Scoops, I think the ghosts behind Oyashiro-sama might be the Sonozaki family. Ruh-roh Reiki. Ruh-roh Reiki. My best friend just murdered my other best friend. Well, gang, looks like we got a mystery on my hands. I can feel them in my... Run, baby. We did. Woo! Yay! You guys did predict it. You predicted what the fucking achievement was gonna be called. Good chapter. Good fucking chapter, my guys. Oh, yeah. There was a lot of info in this one. And actually, it was info that was super interesting. Holy shit. Wow. I hope the other book club members actually watch this before next stream, because I feel like we got lore dumped. We definitely got more info than I think anyone was expecting. Like the whole parasite theory thing. Holy shit. And Keiichi slips even further into insanity. Isn't it interesting though? Like, because if you remember in the first book, this is pretty much what Keiichi went through, except he didn't have her scrapbooks. But this is exactly the same. Like, almost. Weird time travelers. Goddamn. That's for sure. Also, anyone who got parasites, they need to get that checked out. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I wonder, what... Because Dr. Irie is in the village, too, but I guess he might have... Maybe because he's a doctor in that village, maybe that looks normal. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Nah, I mean? Like, maybe he sees the parasites, he's just like, yeah, everybody has that. Literally every single time so far, Keiichi goes insane. Hold on. No, he doesn't. Wait, let me think. The second book, he didn't lose his fucking shit. He just got stabbed. Surely he was trained some... Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, this is the 80s. I don't know. maybe he just got, a little self-taught in the village. I don't know. Maybe. It's also, okay, what are your thoughts? Do you think there's actually maggots? Do you think there's actually some kind of, physical parasite that you would be able to see? Wait, let me think. The fact that you had to think about it is what backs up my claim. Stop. Maybe I enjoy slow, but it makes me insane. Yeah, okay. Good reference. But no, I don't know. Is it possible that we just can't detect the parasite? And yes, he was trained somewhere else, but, is it possible? I don't know. You think Rika's sus? Hi, no matter. Welcome in. But, I don't know. Think about it. One, is there actually physically something there? Two, would you be able to detect it in the 80s? Who knows? Maybe. I don't think parasites could easily be transformed between generations without anybody noticing. It could be, what if the parasites have just gotten that good at blending in? Food for thought? You missed a lot. Joke's on you, I was here from the start. Ah, hell yeah. Okay, good. Muffin ain't fucking around. There was a lot of info in this chapter. They are in our skin. Well, that's the thing. Are they actually in the skin? Is the parasite just a genetic thing? Because we're using the word parasite, but what if it is just a genetic quirk passed down between generations in Hinamizawa? And this is assuming that this is the real deal. Assuming. So mad at Saphyre Blue. I don't know what you mean. But anyway, guys, that was a hella good chapter. And I'm gonna start wrapping it up. I think we've talked about it enough. I'm scared I'm gonna start giving spoilers on accident if we get to. But anyway, tomorrow we're gonna play Genshin. We're gonna be pulling for Neuvillette and Iruga. There you go. Yeah. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out for book club. Always a pleasure. I fucking love book club. Hell yeah. I'm gonna be so sad when we finish reading Higurashi. There's still a couple books after this. Oh my god. It just clicked. Oh my god. Anyway. Tomorrow we're streaming Genshin. If I don't see you in the next one, though, I will see you when I see you. Okay? Okay. Everyone, have a good night. Good evening. And Veil Guards, you are dismissed. Bye-bye.